Let's see. It's clear. Let's see what this bike can do. Let me put it into sport mode, and then we can get a little pull going here. Sport. All right, drop it down to 2, 1. All right, let's go. It is beautiful out here this time of evening. The sun's setting, we got the clouds out, cornfields, horses. Really doesn't get much nicer than this, I think. What's going on? My name's Mike. Today I wanted to give this motovlog thing a try. You're recording on the Insta360 X3 and using the sound from my Cardo Packtalk. Let's see how it goes. I want to talk a little bit about the Ducati riding modes that are available. And there's 3 standard modes: a sport, a touring, and an urban. I'm going to start it off in urban mode, which is a cutback mode using less horsepower. I think the engine gets cut down to 75 horsepower, and there's a different torque profile in first and second gear, which makes it a little bit easier in city traffic. And also this might be a good mode to use in the rain, because less likely to over rev it and control. So you've got different settings. DTC is Ducati traction controls, that's set to 6, which is quite high. Anti-lock brakes are set to 3, and Ducati wheelie control are set to 4. With each sequential mode, the numbers change. So with touring, your traction control is 5, ABS is 3, and wheelie control is 3. And then with sport, your traction control goes down to 3, your ABS goes down to 2, and your wheelie control goes down to 2. So when I'm riding, I can bring the front end up a little bit in sport mode because the wheelie control is 2. With touring, it's a little bit harder, and I've never actually been able to bring the front up on urban mode since it is scaled back. So click it in and start on urban mode, and let's get riding. Gonna be doing some back roads around here. Rained a little bit today, so the roads are a little bit slick. There's probably some branches and stuff all over the roadway, so we're going to take it a little bit easier than I normally would. Let the engine warm up a little bit before we start seeing what it can do. So I've had this 2023 Monster now for about, I guess, 3 or 4 months. Put about 1,600 miles on it because I have a Triumph Tiger, which kind of splits time with me. This bike, I just like to ride around my local neighborhood, kind of do some twisties, get it on the highway a little bit. The Tiger 1200 I have is obviously, can I go? Thank you. The 1200 I have is obviously better for longer rides, for trips. It's got some luggage in there. It's got a passenger backrest, everything to make it comfortable. This obviously is the more fun motorcycle. So I've tried a few longer distance trips on the Monster, and I peaked out at about a 45-minute ride for long distance comfort. I took it down to Annapolis, actually, from Baltimore on the highways, and it was a very hot day, and this bike gets very, very hot, so that was not a pleasant ride. That was actually the day I took it down to take a look at my Triumph Tiger and do a test ride down there. By the time I got back, of course, I hit the worst possible traffic on the Beltway, so it was not the best ride. Alright, so we're in 3rd gear, going about 47. Let's drop it down to the 2nd, see what we can do a little bit. 1st gear. Alright, so we're about 28, so let's see what we can do in urban mode a little bit. I mean, it still pulls, but it's nothing like the touring or the sport mode. Probably going to switch to those modes once we get to a bit of a more open place here. But I do notice that when you're going in slower speeds, the urban mode is a lot more comfortable. The throttle isn't as twitchy as you'd get in the touring and the sport mode, and you get a little bit more of an even throttle response, which does make sense since it is called urban. They're thinking that you'll probably be using this for navigating cities or perhaps if you're commuting. So, you know, it might be a little bit more of a comfortable ride. The one that I keep it in most of the time is touring because that's kind of a great all-around mode. It's not as scaled back as the urban, and it's definitely not as twitchy of a throttle as the sport mode. So let's get out to some better roads, and we'll pick it up from there. Feels like every time I go out, I get stuck behind cars. It's really rare to be able to go out and not have anyone in front of you the whole time. But we'll make the best of it, see if we can pass at some point where it's safe to do so. Man, I might as well actually put it into the touring mode right now. You have an idea of the other modes. So when you're riding, you depress the mode button, which is on your left thumb side. You scroll up to touring mode, you press the mode button in again, and you have to close your throttle. I think you can see that. So you close your throttle, and there you are. I'm in the wrong gear now, so put it down to 4. And one thing I've noticed with this Ducati Monster is the fact that if you're below 4,000 or so RPMs, there's quite a bit of vibration and clunkiness almost to the motor. So I feel like the sweet spot on this bike is around, 4,000, 5,000 RPMs. You can really hear the engine nicely, and you get a good power. So this kind of is the area where I start to get to some of my favorite roads, and I know these roads really nicely. I gotta be a little careful because you can see there's a bunch of stuff in the roadway from when it rained. Today we had a lot of rain. My pool filled up about 2 inches from all the rain that we got this afternoon. What happens here is there's all the dirt and sticks and sand and all this stuff that gets washed into the roadway. So after these storms, I got to be really careful. I can't corner like I normally do. But yeah, the urban mode definitely has a lot more pull in the lower gears than the urban mode. So let me get around here. Got my favorite little straightaway coming up, so let's see. If it's clear, let's see what this bike can do. Let me put it into sport mode, and then we can get a little pull going here. Sport. Alright, drop it down to 2, 1. Alright, let's go. That was good. And in sport mode, this thing really pulls hard, so it's a fun bike for sure. A lot of power. Get out into some of the roads around here. I'll actually take this loop back and head back towards home because I don't have a lot of time to ride tonight, but we'll see how this little first motovlog turned out. Alright. These roundabouts are a lot of fun on a small bike that can handle well. It is beautiful out here this time of evening. The sun's setting, we got the clouds out, cornfields, horses. Really doesn't get much nicer than this, I think. Got another quick little pull here. Having a little fun. Got some fun twisties coming up here on this road, so we're going to keep it down in sports mode. See what this mode can do for us. And again, you got to be careful. The ABS is low, the traction control is low, so got to watch carefully for stuff in the road. Alright, got a nice little curve coming up here. Ah, you see there's shit in the road. Alright, got to be careful. And of course, there's a little water on the road, which can make it a little slick. Past this bicyclist here. So right now it's 73 degrees out. This is probably my favorite temperature to be riding this bike. Engine is showing up 62 Fahrenheit, which is very manageable. When I ride this bike in the summer and it gets up to 80s, 90s out here, it is a hot bike to be on. Especially if you're getting a little stop-and-go traffic going, it really starts burning the inside of that right thigh. And if you're stopped, the fan kicks on, you start getting a little bit of that burn on your left thigh. So in the summer, if you can go fast, that is what you need to do because that wind really helps. The other thing I wanted to mention about the modes is the fuel economy. So when I'm in sport mode, I'm on the throttle a lot more, I'm on the brake a lot more, shifting, switching gears. So the gas mileage isn't as great as when I'm in the touring mode. The touring mode is really kind of what I keep it in most of the time, especially if I'm commuting or going somewhere and not going particularly fast. Really the only time I use that urban mode is if it happens to be raining or if I'm low on fuel and my fuel warning light comes on. Then I drop it down to the urban mode because, again, it drops the engine power down to around 75 horsepower. So I find that I get a little bit of a better fuel mileage going with that. So that's another kind of handy feature, and I don't know if anyone else does the same, but if you do, let me know. The nice little area here is a big private golf course around here, off to the left. Not sure if you can see it, but at the BMW Championship here last year, so it's a pretty nice course. We're still riding. Might as well talk about the quick shifter here. It is a pretty smooth shifter, honestly. When I first rode it, I felt between the first and second gear, it's a bit of a sharp shift, but then after second, it's really smooth all the way up through 6. And then it also does downshifting and does auto blip, which basically matches your rev, so you don't feel a jerky deceleration like that. And that's also, works really, really nicely. Helps you keep your hands on the handlebars. Helps you with some better control. So yeah, I really do mix it up though when I'm, doing quick accelerations, quick cornering. I do like to use the quick shifter, but when I'm just driving casually, smoothly, it is nice to be able to manually shift gears. That's another thing also. I'm a fairly new rider. I've been going at it for about 2 years now. So it's good to learn how to manually shift gears because a lot of the beginner bikes, they don't have the quick shifter. I started on a BMW G310, which is only about 30-something horsepower, no quick shifter. Did have a wet clutch to make shifting a little easier, so that was a nice little bike to learn on. And I did do a video review about that on my channel, so if you want to check that out, definitely feel free. So, alright guys, I think this is good. Wanted to try this out. Hopefully everything syncs up and I can upload this video. If you like this motovlog, I can keep doing stuff like this. I can keep taking you on some rides. Just let me know in the comments. If you liked it, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It definitely helped me grow. And let's keep having some fun. Let's keep riding. Catch you later.